Hey, this is Mike Lindsay from Vital MX, and heading into the second round of the 2022 AMA Pro Motocross Championship this weekend. We have a few injury reports to go through and just clear up. A couple of these have been out this week, so you may have already seen them. If not, we're lumping them together here. So first up, the biggest one in terms of layoff time is Austin Forkner. The Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki rider ended up going under the knife this week for shoulder surgery. He did make it through the Fox Raceway National okay, so I'm sure a lot of people are confused as to why he ended up having surgery. So we had originally been told about 2 weeks prior to the opening round of the outdoor season, while testing, he had a crash and had injured his shoulder and tore his labrum. Well, Austin has come out and explained further that he actually originally tore his labrum heading into Supercross this year back in December. It had a minor surgery to kind of try to get it through, fix it up the way he describes it. I don't know what level of surgery he had initially or how bad the initial injury to it was, but was able to get cleared up, ended up riding East Coast Supercross, and then in the incident with Jett Reynolds where he broke his collarbone, he actually retore it, and from his guesstimation with the doctor, it sounds like it was tore around 80% or so, meaning it was pretty close to being finished off. Comes back, starts getting ready for outdoors, has a small crash, again 2 weeks before outdoors, the one that we heard of, where he said he just tipped over in a corner and kind of caught his shoulder, popped it, finished it off. He basically was unable to really ride much at all going into the opening round then. He ended up having a decent race, going 6-6 on his moto scores, which even he admitted after the tough outdoor season he endured last year, this was a positive, but the amount of ibuprofen and Tylenol and Cortisol shots, he said everything it really took to get him through the pain to race, they just sat down afterwards and decided, man, it's not worth it to continue the Outdoor National Series like this under these conditions, especially because next year will likely be his last year in 250 Supercross. The goal would be, of course, to win championship, be healthy. So he underwent surgery this week to fix the labrum. Shoulder surgeries to that extent are pretty decent. That should be enough to put him out likely for the entire outdoor season as far as we're aware. Moving over to his teammate, Cameron McAdoo. Cameron sadly crashed right off the bat in Moto 1, and it's all she wrote. Broken sternum, bleeding on the lungs, had a really tough day. We had seen him getting carted off and kind of the blood on his face and such. He ended up getting transported to the local hospital and checked out. He's at home. He's recovering, in good spirits, but that's a decent enough injury as well. There's no real immediate timeline for his return. We could see him in outdoors still. If we had to play the guessing game, we would say probably the last 4 rounds after the big 2-week break after Washougal. Maybe a little sooner, just depends again how the lungs heal up and the sternum and everything, but we're not going to see him for a few rounds. Jett Reynolds has just returned to riding for that team, but will not race this weekend, so that leaves the Monster Energy Pro Circuit squad with Joe Shimoda and Seth Hammaker heading into the weekend. And then the third one we were going to talk about was Ty Masterpool. Ty came into the season for the AO Powersports KTM team, already injured from what we were aware. He's been nursing some level of a wrist or hand injury. He had a pretty big crash, which we actually caught on camera at Fox Raceway 1. Didn't do him any good. He was unable to line up for Moto 2. He did the sight lap, pulled off because he wasn't going to be able to hang on. He is not racing this weekend. There is no word on his return date at this time. We would guess, though, that we might not likely see him until maybe about round 5, till after we get our first break. But again, he was dealing with this injury already coming into the season, and the crash he had definitely did not help that situation. The last one we're going to mention is Joey Savacci will be racing this weekend. He was not really hurt going into last weekend, but he was still recovering from his injury and his knee surgery in Supercross. Started testing and riding for the Monster Energy Kawasaki 450 team. But had to skip to the first round. Just didn't feel fully prepared. But after another week of testing and on the bike, him and the team have decided it's all good to go. So he will be on the line tomorrow at Hangtown. So those are little injury updates for the weekend. Like, subscribe. Thank you guys very much for watching, and stay tuned for more videos.